Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator. And today I'm going to try the Airbus A320 Neo on the new scenery that's been updated in the Microsoft Flight Simulator with the patch 1.9.3.0, and it's Japan. Yesterday I did a video, a very short video, with the default settings as per the Microsoft Flight Simulator. This one, Tour of Japan, in which you cannot select or deselect the airports, and plus you can also select the airplane. It's the default plane. So I tried that. It was good. The scenery was really amazing. So today I just thought of doing the complete flight. I think it's a 2 hours and 45 minutes drive flight. Sorry for that. Okay, so this default flight is from Nagasaki, SAKI, RJFU, Nagasaki to Tokyo. Okay, so this is the flight that I'm going to take. Great. And let's check the runways. Okay, so let me select the gate for departure. So I've selected gate 5 for departure, and I will be using runway 32. Okay, so let's go and select high altitude airways and runway 32 Chiku 3, runway 32. Okay, let's go and check. Great. So the plane will take off from runway 32 and will take a right turn to get the flight path. Here's the SID, which is for the departure. Okay, now for the arrival, zoom to details. Okay, so let's select a gate for ramp. Is there any gate available? These are all ramps. I'm not really sure that these are the small ramps for the small planes or for the big commercial planes. So everything is coming as ramp. Okay. Anyhow, I'll just select this one, set as arrival. Okay. So this has been selected as an arrival. Zoom to details. And let's select runway 34 right. Runway 34 right. Approach ILS 34 right Z. Good. So this is the flight, and obviously I'm not going to fly in the night time because right now the flight conditions, it's 11 in the night in Japan right now, and I'm sitting in Middle East, so it's 5:26 is the time. So I'm not going to select this option, and we will go for the preset, and I will select the time of the day myself. I like to travel during the sunrise. Let's see. Okay, so the moment the plane will carry out the startup procedures for Airbus A320 Neo, it will be sunrise. We've made the flight plan, and in the coming few days I'm also planning to cover the videos in which we can make manual flight plans using SimBrief and enter into the FMCU of Airbus A320. But for this video, we're just going to explore Japan and the scenery and just look how beautiful it looks. Okay, so everything is set. Airbus A320 Neo is the plane, and let's go and have a look at the navlog. 39,000 feet. So cruise altitude is 39,000 feet. Just to be on the safe side, Bogon. So this is the waypoint after which we will start the descent. So even if the ATC is deceiving us or giving us wrong altitude, I think we can use this point as a reference to remember that after Bogon we have to start the descent. So this was the navlog. So here we are at RJFU Nagasaki Airport. So this is the airport, and this is the plane. At the airport, let's jump outside the plane and have a look at the airport. Nice. Really loved it. I was actually flying in. This is a plane sound. I thought some music has started. Okay. So I've been flying previously in Australia, and the airport didn't have lights. It was really dark, so it was kind of depressing. No, back in the Airbus A320 Neo, and the issue with the left engine has been resolved. There's a video on my channel. You can just go and watch it, and you can see the left engine issue has been resolved. So let's open the checklist, and let's start with the startup procedure. And I will just turn the manage radio comms off, but not managed by the AI. I'll do it myself. So let's first of all turn on the battery switches so that we have some power. External power. So let's call in for the external power. Let's see if we have ground services available. Yes, we have ground services available. Tune into ground, fuel supply, power supply.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. Could you please send a ground power unit? Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, a ground power unit is on the road.
Okay, so the ground power is on the way, and then we'll also call for the fuel supply. Let's jump out.
Ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. Could you please send a fuel truck?
So this is the power supply, and the fuel truck will be on its way.
Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, a fuel truck is on the road.
Okay, and let's request for the jetway connection.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
So now as we have the external power, so that I can now turn on the external power. Let's check for the engine generators on. Fault should be displayed. It is there. This is the caution for the door, so don't worry about that because we have requested the jetway. Just ignore this one. Okay. So engine generators are up and running. Engine bleed air switches. Engine bleed air switches on. APU master switch. Turn it on. APU start on. And let's wait for the available sign to appear over here. So once it's available, then we'll turn on the APU bleed and turn off the external power. Okay, so any of the ground services, I think we didn't call for the baggage and for the catering.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. Could you please send the baggage? Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, baggage is on the way.
Okay, now as available is there, so we'll turn on the APU bleed. APU bleed on, which is basically the auxiliary power unit of the plane. So we don't need external power anymore. So we are going to cut off the external power. Turn on the fuel pumps. There you go. So everything is good so far, and turn on the beacon. That's it. So we don't need the external power anymore. So that's fine. I will contact ground and I will request end of power supply.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. I am done with power.
And we need catering service for the food.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. Could you please send the catering truck? Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320. The catering truck is on the road.
Let's go external and see. Okay, now the fuel truck is here. The baggage is getting loaded. The catering truck is here. And soon the fuel settings will pop up on the screen. I'm just checking the taxiway as well because this is the first time I'll be taxiing on this runway. So I just wanted to check where to go. So here's the green line, and okay, so we can just go from here. We can go straight and turn right, and then we are on the runway. It's good. Okay, so let's hop back into the plane. We are in the cockpit. Now the fuel is there. I think let's increase it to 62%. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, so the weight is there. 170 pounds is the pilot's weight. I'm a bit higher than this one. Okay, co-pilot can be 170. Business class, we have passengers in the business class and forward baggages. And economy class is there, forward baggage, rear baggage. Okay, so everything is in place. Soon the fuel supply will automatically end. Power supply has ended. So good. And the sunrise, you can see it from here. So once we are flying, we can see the sunrise. And let's hurry up. So I'm going to now, you can see the fuel supply has automatically ended. The power supply we already finished. Baggage supply, that's not the baggage supply, the baggage service. Okay. And also let's call off the catering service.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, I am done with catering services.
And let's get the jetway disconnected.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
Okay, so now the jetway is disconnected. Now we can call for the pushback. Go back to clearance. First of all, request IFR clearance.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 ready to copy IFR clearance to Tokyo.
The graphics are now really smooth after this. Even after 1.8.3.0, the graphics were smooth, but now after 1.9.3.0, the graphics are further smooth. So 0316 read back acknowledge. The moment we'll read back, the squawk will be set.
Airbus Alpha
0316.
Sierra X-ray 320 cleared to Tokyo Airport is filed. Takeoff runway 32 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure on ONE 21.0 squawk 0316.
Okay, so the squawk is now set.
Airbus 320 readback is correct. Contact ground on ONE 21.6 when ready to taxi.
Okay, so pushback. Let's release the brakes.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320
Let's
requesting
get this
pushback.
checklist.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 pushback request accepted.
Okay, so this is in the idle position even on my Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. The thrust is in the idle position. It's check, engine mode selector. Let's wait for the pushback to start. Is it starting? I can see the light of the tug from, yeah, it has now started. So let's keep an eye over here. Engine mode selector, ignition, engine 1 on. Yes, and engine 2. Wait for the engines to stabilize. Okay, we will do that. And now I have to keep an eye on the pushback. My pushbacks have been always a disaster. Always miss or forget to call to turn left or right or to stop. We'll be turning left because we are going to go this way,
Nagasaki
right?
ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left. Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, your request has been transmitted to the operator. Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 requesting the end of pushback.
Okay, the pushback has ended. Let's put the parking brakes. So the engines are now stabilized. You can see. Now let's go to the checklist and APU bleed off. Check. APU master switch off. Check. Engine mode selector to normal. Check. Okay, now turn on the lights. Turn on runway lights. Okay. To taxi, turn on nav lights. Turn on wing eyes light. Beacon is already, and turn on strobe. So strobe is on. Everything is good. Let's jump out and see. Okay. Wow. It was a nice pushback. I think I should have been here. But anyhow. It's just like about the timing. Okay. So let's get back into the cockpit. Release the parking brakes. Give some throttle. And let's start the taxi. And request taxi.
Nagasaki ground Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 with mine ready to taxi IFR.
I'm setting the speed to 240 knots. Below 10,000, the speed should be less than 250 knots. Okay, so everything is good so far. We've got the clearance. Acknowledge. Let's keep it here.
Taxiing hold short runway 32 via taxiway 08 Papa 2 Tango 1 Airbus 320.
I'm just really enjoying the graphics. You can see the sunrise. Beautiful. So it's going to be an interesting flight, and if the autopilot behaves well. I was reading some comments on Facebook, and somebody was telling me, not telling me, just commented on one of the posts that, they still have some issues with the autopilot in A320. So with this flight, we'll also check if there are any issues with the autopilot or not. And but hopefully, so far the things are looking good. Yesterday night I just did a very short, not even a flight, just a takeoff, just to check whether the left engine turns off or not. And it didn't. The video is there on my channel. You can just go and watch it. And even right now you'll experience it that there's no issue. So that's good. So with the Japan scenery, everybody is like, trying the Japan scenery because it's I think the first update with the Japan scenery. Airports have been improved. Realism has been added. I think there are around about 60 cities for which there is actual geometric footage, or the buildings, actual buildings are available. So you can just enjoy the actual and real landscape while flying. I'll also try out all those 60 cities. So let's see which cities are there in the list, so that we can just fly between those cities and check the scenery. There's so much to explore. The best thing about Flight Simulator, the Microsoft one, is this, that it has taken the burden of making the flight plan off the shoulders. X-Plane 11, it was always problematic because you had to have a Navigraph subscription, and okay, so let's put the parking brakes. So if at times the waypoints were not available, at times the flight path was not available, so there were lots of issues. But now with this Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can make a flight plan. Even with the Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can make a flight plan for X-Plane 11. So in the next maybe coming few videos, I'll try to do that. It takes a lot of time, so I'm always short in time. and I was always looking for some time to make videos. Whenever I get time, I'm always here, sitting down and just trying to fly the plane and share my information with you, whatever I have with me. Okay, let's now turn on the brakes and ask for the clearance. Takeoff clearance. Now I will also turn on this option.
Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 with runway 32 ready for takeoff IFR to Tokyo.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 cleared for takeoff runway 32.
Okay, so we've got the clearance.
Cleared for takeoff runway 32 Airbus Alpha Sierra
Oh.
X-ray 320.
A plane just appeared inside the plane. Let's go. Oh, wow, this is amazing. This is nice. So what should we do? There are already 2 planes on the runway waiting for the takeoff. I don't know. Are they in the mood of taking off or not? I think it's other users who are trying the same way. Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore this. And because I'm not really sure. Oh, the third plane also appeared. I think nobody's in the mood of flying or taking off. So most of the people, when they are here, they're just experimenting with the plane and looking at the controls. So that's okay. So I can release the parking brake, and I can just carry on with them with the takeoff. Okay. The flaps down to 1 position. The takeoff has not been improved. The plane automatically takes off. So let's cross these planes and then okay. 1 click, 2nd click. So that issue is still there. The plane takes off itself. You don't have to put any effort. Anyhow. Gears up.
Airbus 320 contact Nagasaki departure on ONE 21.0.
121.0 for Airbus 320.
Okay, 1500. So reduce the throttle to climb.
Nagasaki departure Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 is climbing through 1,600 feet for 12,000 feet.
I forgot to turn on the flight director. So now here it is. I'll engage the autopilot. And let's turn this on. And the speed. Flaps up. Why the plane is descending? Okay, now the plane has started to climb. The throttle is on climb thrust. You can see it over here. Thrust climb. Okay, so we are heading towards which waypoint? HASMI. So the autopilot has ignored this waypoint. It's not going like this. It will go straight, and from here to take a right turn. It's okay. Now the speed is also stabilizing, so everything is good. So we are heading towards Hazmi. 29.92. I think this is the one, if I heard it right. Yes, so no need to change the barometric pressure. I'm not really sure about the Japan, but there will be a transition altitude. I think maybe after 15,000 feet, we'll change it to standard, and then there will be no issue in the mismatch of the altimeter over here because of the barometric pressure, because the plane may use the altitude of the plane using the barometric pressure settings. So now we are 10,700. We can increase the speed to 320. Can we do that? I'll go to 320. Yes, the speed is increasing. And you can see the vertical speed is decreasing because the plane is moving forward. So that's why once the speed has been attained, then the plane will start to climb again, and it's time to jump outside the plane and look at the sunrise. Beautiful. I've got some real flights in my real life during the sunrise. There was this flight with Flynas, and then I flew with Saudi Airlines, and it was amazing. You should watch those videos. Maybe I'll also post the link in the description. It's amazing. Sunrise and sunsets are always beautiful.
Airbus A320 climb and maintain flight level 190.
Okay, so let's climb to 190.
Climb and maintain flight level 190 Airbus A320.
Constraints. Let's turn on the constraints. Can we see the constraints? Okay. Now I'm going to do a trick. I'm going to engage managed altitude mode. Initially, I was engaged selected altitude mode. The difference between two modes is when you select this option, engage selected altitude mode, the plane basically climbs up to the altitude that's mentioned over here. But once you select this option, managed altitude mode, then whatever the altitude is as per the constraints and as per the information entered into the MCDU or in the FMS through MCDU, it will be there. So if you look at the flight plan, so this is what it is. So I'm going to check this one and see what happens. So the constraint over here was for 4,800, but the tower gave us the clearance to climb up. So anyhow, I don't mind that. Plane, the thrust is in the climb thrust. We're climbing. Nav option is on. Autopilot 1 is running on the flight directed 1 and FT2. It's active. Wonderful. So this is going to be an interesting flight. If you look outside the window, wow, just look at the views. Beautiful views from here. Let's try this showcase. The mouse cursor should disappear. It has successfully. Just look at this plane, look at the rising sun. I'm right now using the default liveries in Airbus A320, but I'm planning to get some liveries over this weekend and try to install them. I'll also try to make a video for that, and hopefully I'll share it with you. Let's So the plane is about to stabilize at 19,000 feet. I think now the tower will further start.
Climb and maintain flight level 290.
So 290. Press it again, and then the
Climb
plane
and
will
maintain
start to
flight
climb
level
again.
290 Airbus A320.
It's a long way to go. Let's check the map. This waypoint is salty. Okay. Amazing view. It's not windy. Yes, it's not windy. If you can see, the weather is really calm. Let's go. So, no, there is 35 knots. Wind at 35 knots at 23,000 feet and 278 degrees. So it's like coming from the back. Okay, so there is wind, but not turbulent. As you can see, it's very calm, stable. Let's look at the wing flex. I was reading in the update that the wing flex for 787 has improved in this simulator. So once I'm doing a 787 flight, I'll also check this one and the wing flex. Wow, realism is good. No matter how tired you are, if once you start flying the plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it just takes out all the tiredness. You're fresh back again. And the similar thing happens to me even before. I just came back from the office, had a cup of tea, and I was thinking of sleeping. But now, once I started to fly the plane, I'm fresh and want to do more flights. Once at the cruise altitude, then I'll just jump out and we'll just fly the plane from outside. Oh, enable barometric pressure to standard. Okay, so I've just kept it to standard. I think we have crossed the transition altitude. I'm not really sure about Japan. What's the transition altitude? I think for US it's 8,000, or maybe for Europe it's 12,000. I'm not really sure. Sorry for that. It's not on the top of my mind right now. But you can search it over the internet, and you can just simply go to Google and just write down, transition altitude for Japan, and I think you'll get that information. So I think now we will be climbing further. What I'll do is this. I'll now select this option, engage manage speed mode. And now I will let the autopilot select the speed. So I'm going to climb to 370.
Airbus A320
So now the speed will also be adjusted by the autopilot. So I will not be handling the speed, as now we are going to cross 30,000 and the speed will change to Mach. That's why now it's 0.766 Machs, not 320 knots. 0.766 Mach. So this is how the speed will be adjusted. So above 30,000 feet, you never fly at knots. You always fly at Mach speeds. The advantage of setting the speed at Mach is that as high as you go, the speed limit will reduce. Right now you could see the speed limit was 340, but as soon as we have started crossing 30,000 feet, the speed limit is decreasing. As the speed limit is decreasing, the autopilot will automatically adjust. You can see it jumped below. But if you had set your speed to 320 knots, it would have stayed here, and then after some point in time when the speed limit had reduced, you would be, hearing those alerts for the high speed. So now you can see as the plane is climbing up, the speed limit is reducing, and the speed is also getting reduced. And this is totally done by the autopilot. So as soon as you cross 30,000 feet, you can engage this option, engage manage speed mode, and the autopilot will automatically convert it into Mach and will automatically adjust the speed. So that's the basic of Mach. $71. I'm not really sure if this is the wind speed. Can be high. Okay. So everything is good. Just like there's a long way to go for the landing, but let's turn off this option, nav and ILS, and check we have No, let's go back to VHF one, and first of all, go to this option rad nav. This is basically radio nav. So the approach is on 34 right, ILS, and this is our arrival runway, and 108.90 is the frequency for the ILS.
Airbus 320
And
transponder appears inoperative or malfunctioning. Reset squawk 0316.
this is one of the errors that I face. Squawk. Let's 0316. Done that. Let's check. So I've reset that. I think it happened because I switched to the ILS, but it's working fine. Just a basic check to see whether the frequency is there in the ILS. So it is there. Nothing to be worried about. Everything is good so far. (21:31). So it's 9:31. So the time here in this clock is not right. It should have been set according to the time in the simulator. Okay, now the plane is leveling off at 37,000 feet. I think we will be asked to climb 2,000 more.
Airbus 320 climb and maintain flight level 390.
Yes, I think, and this is going to be the last climb.
Climb and maintain flight level 390 Airbus 320.
Yes, the plane has started to climb. So far there are no issues with the autopilot. And everything is looking good. So even... no, last time when I tried, I think there were some issues with the autopilot. Initially there was this issue. When I turned on the autopilot, the plane just almost nosedived and it just came back. Maybe it was due to the flaps, or... This is actually what I was discussing to you about. That I've just read it over the internet that most of the people are complaining about the Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's not about people are unhappy. The issue is this, that if somebody who is new to the flight simulators or new to the planes or doesn't know what's really happening, they might think that they would have done something wrong. Even with me, after making videos for YouTube for the last I think more than 2 years for Explain 11 and for other flight simulators. Not only for Explain 11. I haven't tried any other simulator other than the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So when the left engine was turning off initially after the 1.8.3.0 patch, I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I just struggled for almost 25-30 minutes. I just... what you can say, went through the checklist twice, and then something triggered that maybe something is wrong, and I searched over the internet and I just saw that most of the people were actually searching for this problem and commenting that this issue is happening. So I just ended up making a video just to tell the people who are actually coming to the YouTube to find a solution that there is an actual issue, so don't worry about that, and there was a way around or a quick fix with the help of which you can just fly Airbus A320 Neo. So that is the issue. Even right now, after the takeoff and the plane just plunged down, maybe, I thought that I'm doing something wrong. Maybe then I have to do it all over again, start the procedures, coming back to the runway, and then taking off, and then again seeing that, the plane is taking a dip. So this is the issue. Otherwise, everything is fine. I just enjoy flying, except for the part that few days back I was trying a flight in Australia, and I was flying from Melbourne to Sydney, if I'm not wrong, yes. And just right after the approach, my plane just stopped following the navigation and it just turned abruptly towards the right side. I had to do a turnaround, a go around. I came back again, and when I tried to land, the plane crashed. So this is kind of agonizing. Right now I'm even doing a 2 hours and 45 minutes flight, and if something goes wrong, my whole effort is gone. But somehow otherwise, in any case, I will just end up uploading this video. Thank you very much for time, for listening to my to my thoughts. So this is the scenario right now. This is where the plane is going. What I'll do is this. For the time being, I'll just fix the camera to showcase, just to see. So you can just look around. So I'm using the numpad, the keys on the numpad, to look left and right during the showcase. And you can just fix the view. You can also do this. You can also do this. And you can look down and up. And if you press 5, it's in the middle. So that's how you can change the views. But with the navigation keys, the up, down, left and right keys, you cannot do anything. So that's it. Let's get back into the cockpit and see that if everything is fine. Everything is fine. Soon the plane will be turning right. And just like the waypoint from where we'll start the descent, I think it was Bongo, maybe. Yeah, it was something like Bongo, Bongon, maybe. I think this is the point. I think from here we'll start the descent, but I'll wait for the ATC, and then I will see that when to land. Otherwise, just for your knowledge, no mathematics involved, no physics involved, no real life, no aviation life experience involved. Just a basic dipstick check. This circle over here is like 240 knots. This is 160 knots. So it means this point over here is 160 knots away, or nautical miles away from where you are right now. And this point is 240 nautical miles away. So that's how you do it. So if at times I cannot see the top of descent and there is an issue, or the tower tells me the wrong decision, I just make sure that the final approach, I just set it to 180, this option, 100 knots. NDs, which is navigation display, max range to 80 nautical miles. I just set it here. And if the approach is over here, within, just slightly over here, within the 120 nautical mile circle, then I start the descent. So it's a very simple check. Even if you start your descent roughly 120 nautical miles before the runway, there is a very good chance that you're going to catch the glides though. But if you miss that, then you have to go at a very high vertical speed to land, and then managing your speed becomes a very difficult job. So it's a very basic dipstick check, a quick check. If you miss anything, if you're not an expert, you cannot identify the top of descent on your screen. So that's how you do it. If I'm not wrong, so it was Bogon. Yes, Bogon. It was this one. So I think after this point, I will start the descent. But so far, everything is looking good. Let's fix the camera to showcase. Yes. And I will set like this. Okay, rather let's do one thing. Go to external camera and look at the view. So it's not cloudy. One more thing. Let's do this thing. Let's get back into the cockpit again and WXR. Okay, as they are, what if I turn on the terrain? Can we see any mountain? No. If you're flying at a lower altitude, if some mountain is high enough, then I think we'll see. Okay, so that's it. Turn on waypoint and VOR DME. We are not flying VOR, so we don't need that. Otherwise, if you turn this option on, you'll be able to see the VORs. Here is the VOR. I think there's a VOR at Salty. And this is the waypoint information. You can see the waypoints, and then this is the NDB display, and turn off airport info display. So we don't need this. Let's turn on the constraints. So because once we'll start the approach towards the runway, we need constraints to see that at what altitude we should be at different points. so that you don't miss the glide slope. Let's check the flight plan. Salty, 4.8 nautical miles away. So everything is good so far. Let's go back to the showcase mode and let's enjoy the view. Beautiful, amazing. So for the time being, I'll just fix the view over here, and once we are near the top of descent, I'll just come back again, and then we'll proceed from there. Otherwise, anyhow, just enjoy your flight and enjoy the views.
Airbus A320 Tokyo Center Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 with flight level 390.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 Tokyo Center. Continue to economy as planned. Airbus 320 contact Tokyo Center on 133.5.
133.5 for Airbus 320. Tokyo Center Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 with flight level 390. Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 Tokyo Center continue to economy as planned. 134.15. 134.15 for Airbus 320. Tokyo Center Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, flight level 390.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 Tokyo Center. Continue to flew as planned.
Okay, so I'm back with you once again, and I hope you would have enjoyed the views. And we are near the airport, not that far. It's there, and you can see this arrow. It means the top of descent. This arrow. So it means we are nearing the top of descent. I will just wait for 20, 30, 40 seconds just for the tower to tell me when to descend. If the tower will not tell me when to descend, I will start the descent myself. Okay, can we see? Yeah. Okay, so here it is. So as I told you before in the beginning, after looking at the nav log, that after Bogon we should be starting our descent. So let's wait for some time. After crossing this mark. Let's go out and enjoy some external view. We'll be doing more sightseeing once we'll start the descent. Thanks to the autopilot option. Okay, so the sun is shining bright. Radio comm is quiet. The last was okay. Continue to flute as planned. So it was a handover, which was like okay, and then 2 communications to polar. Yes. Let's wait. Otherwise, let's check. The altitude at which we should be. Sorry, press this off button. So this is runway 34, and we should be at this point, Camel. We should be at 4,000. So we will descend to 4,000 feet. I've been telling about these things in my previous videos as well. If you look at the A320 tutorials, the complete tutorials in detail, you will come to know. So now. This point has passed. If I'm not wrong, that was the top of descent. Let's check. Let's switch to 160. Okay. So I think it's time to start the descent. I don't mind being at... let's set it at 10,000 initially, and then I will change it. Now we have started the descent. Constraints. So what is the first constraint? Maybe we just follow the constraint. Can we see them? Oh, I cannot see the constraints from here. Is it clear? I cannot zoom in. It's, I think, 16,250. So at this point we should be at 16,250. I will see. So let's set it to 16,000. Okay, and let's see where we end up. If we are at 16,000 before this point, then it's good. Otherwise, it's not good.
Airbus 320, you are 900 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain flight level 390.
I'm not taking this risk. It has happened to me before. I was flying from Sydney to Melbourne, and I got the call to descend when I was very near to the airport, and I couldn't make it. So now, since then, I'm now being careful with the ATC communication, and I never listen to them. If they give a call at the right time, then it's fine. Otherwise, what? It just changed automatically. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything. Oh, the zoom in, zoom out option is not working. My right click has become the zoom. How did this happen? I didn't do anything. Trust me. Oops. Okay, so now the wheel, with the help of wheel I can look left and right, and with right click it's, I don't know how this orientation changed. Amazing. Let's go and look at these settings. Camera type, free look. No, free look, it's locked. Free look. Okay, free look is like this. So if you move the mouse, it will just keep on moving. So I will keep it to fixed look, upper position. It's okay. Smart cam, no, I don't want that. Zoom type, manual, auto, manual. Okay. Now it's fixed. Yes. Okay. So it's fixed now. I don't know what happened. Anyhow, the plane is now descending. We are at 30,000 feet and...
Airbus 320, please expedite your climb to flight level 390.
I wish... I wish I could. I don't know when I will be hearing this call to descend. Otherwise, I think request cruising altitude decrease, increase. No, let's not do that. I think after some time, either I'll get a call to descend, or maybe this IFR plan will be cancelled. Then we can just call it back again once we are near the airport. But otherwise, I'm just going to fly it myself. 16,250 we should be at. 27,000 is the altitude, so I think we're in the safe hands. Nothing to be really worried about. Let's jump out and see.
Airbus 320, please expedite your climb to flight level 390.
Flying above the sea. The sun is bright. Very little clouds. This thing is happening because of the zoom. So if I zoom in like this, then will it happen? Yes, distortion decreases, but if you zoom out, the distortion increases. Maybe it's because of the wide angle, the fisheye. This happened to me when I got my first GoPro. I used the 7 Black GoPro, and once moving to the 4K resolution, you can only select the wide angle, and you couldn't just get rid of the wide angle. So most of the videos were stretched like this. So I decided to just shoot the 2.K videos. You have an option. Now the GoPro Hero 9 is there. I'm planning to buy it, but I'm not really sure whether in the 5K, because it supports 5K, you're able to get rid of the wide angle or not. I'm not really sure. If you know it, kindly let me know in the comment section so that I can buy it. I've not got enough time to basically go and search over the internet, but maybe over this weekend I'll do some research. Okay, so let's select the pilot view, and I have yes, upper position. I've not selected that. Now you can see below 30,000 feet the speed is now less than 290 knots, which is good, as we have selected this option, engage manage speed mode. That's why the speed is automatically getting adjusted. We don't have to worry about the speed, the altitude, we're just setting it. Engage manage altitude mode. I think once in the range of the constraints, the plane should automatically descend to the different constraint levels. Hopefully it will work this time. We're going to check it. Wind is blowing from this side, 312 degrees. 23 knots is the speed. And once here, I'll turn on the ILS info on. We've already checked that the ILS frequency is already there in the system, as I can show you here, ILS 34, right?
Airbus 320, please expedite your climb to flight level 390.
Okay. Just ignore that. I think this is a bug. Hopefully, with the next coming few patches, it might get solved. Because, obviously, you cannot be at this point flying at 39,000 feet. You will hardly have, a few nautical miles to descend. You won't be able to descend from 39,000 feet. Even we started a descent so early, still we are at 16,000 feet. So, we are at 16,000 feet way before this point. We are safe. It's better to be at the lower altitude than to be at a higher. Remember this thing. Because if you are at a lower altitude, you can still fly at this altitude. But if you're at a higher altitude, you'll get very less time to basically descend. And with a high descent rate, your speed will increase. This has happened for the second time. I think now I'm getting scared. Is there somebody in the room? No. This is weird. This is weird to the highest level. It's like watching a horror movie, The camera pans automatically towards the co-pilot seat and there's no co-pilot. Wow. I'm even scared to touch my mouse. Okay. So the mouse wheel will... Wow. This is happening when I'm pressing the wheel of the mouse. With the right click, it's zooming, and I'm unable to go back. So maybe can we say that?
Airbus 320, please expedite your climb to flight level 390.
This is weird. This is weird at. Honestly speaking, this is getting crazy and scary as well. As if somebody else is going. Oh. I just press and hold the right key, mouse button, and I can just look left and right. But as soon as I leave it, it's locked into this view. And I think it has crashed. Thank you very much for staying with me. You can see that there was a bug. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I'll try to do this flight again. But if it is a bug, it should be fixed as soon as possible. The view just got locked near the approach. This time, nothing failed. But just the whole simulator crashed. I'm sorry for that. Hope to see you soon. If you have got any questions or any comments, do let me know. And I will be really happy to respond to your, what you can say, if you've got any question. And I am speechless. I don't know what to do. My whole effort is gone. Otherwise, thank you very much for staying with me. If you have subscribed to my channel, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to it right now, and hope to see you soon.